crazy because I looked at that Instagram post and I was looking under the comments and the amount of, there was negative, but the amount of positive feedback that Chu was getting and the cast was getting, it was mind-boggling that they didn't see that this was a problem. And one of the comments, it stood out to me. It said something like, "Oh, you represented us in a way that we could be proud of." But I'm like, maybe he represents you because you look like most of those people.
Right.
And I'm not taking anything away from the actors that were in the movie, but everybody has been up to, I call it up to, in the heights, right? Everybody has been there. It does not look like only like what was shown in the movie. And that did it, the injustice.
Like, even me, like, I actually, like, I'm not going to take away from the movie. It's an awesome movie. It's great. It was really entertaining. I was a fan of the musical. And for the record, Lin-Manuel Miranda did have black people in the Broadway show. So I don't know what happened. But the movie was great. But even me, not even with that anywhere in my mind, like about 20 to 30 minutes in, I was like, wait, there's no black people.
Like, it used to be known as Chocolate City. It's barely Mocha City right now.
And my eye intentionally started looking at the background dancers and trying to look, intentionally looking for dark-skinned people, and I just didn't see it. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to be like this.
So I'll cut him some slack. I can see how he could have missed this.
Why?
I can see him.
How?
Because he's not looking at it from that lens like when he created Hamilton.
How does a bastard orphan son of
because when you're saying this is just my thoughts and opinion on it, if you're thinking Hispanic and you're thinking Dominican, Puerto Rican, El Salvadorian, all of those, you think is the people as a whole. Just like you see these folks still represent everyone, no matter the color diversity.
Yeah, I think that's where the sticking point is like and that's why, Grace, you were talking about, you saw a lot of support, because I think, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I see, what people were saying, they saw it as they just saw it as a Latin American movie to represent Latinos in America.
No matter how you look. Okay.
Yeah,
exactly,
but to me, it's like
it's
a generalization representative, and they felt represented, as Latinos in the movie, or Latinx. Sorry, movie.
Oi.
But it's like, to get them to go to the next level, I found that if they weren't of that phenotype, it was more difficult for them to see there being an issue. Like, if you're already like an Afro-Latino, you're gonna be, it's just like, and I was explaining this to one of my friends. I was like, this is the same thing that blacks have had to go through with the blaxploitation era, with getting dark skin. Because even when they started coming out with classy movies with Lena Horne and everything, even as classy as those movies were, Lena Horne was still very light skinned, and they even had to come out and say, even though this represents us in a good light, it doesn't represent all of us. And it's the same exact thing, and it's just happening all over again. But I think once they realize that, they're like, okay, like this is how this is going to be. Because people were like, why crap on this movie when there's representation, just to say, oh, there aren't enough dark people. They felt that it wasn't an issue. You have to look at the bigger picture. But there is no bigger picture, because if you don't use the big platforms to point attention to it, no one's ever going to hear your voice.
True.
Right. So I'll add on to that. So going back to that last part of, it's representing us, and we should just, feel pride in that. The issue is you're also ignoring that particular issue that we always strive away from as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We know that issue exists. Yeah. We do. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those silent issues that you just don't talk about.
Yeah. And this is
because
like a stamp. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say that because we're all under that one flag.
Yeah.
We know what it is, but we still all have to be together on this one.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
Yeah. But this also creates like history. When you go back and you look at it, and then other, say they want to show it in the schools or in schools all over the South America or wherever, everywhere they want to show it. And then I understand that there are lots of movies with just white people or whatever the case is, but this was about the Heights, and these people who have no idea what it is to live there, they're going to have a warped view of the people that live there. And that, to me, that didn't do it justice. And it's also, people are tired of waiting to be included. And I'm not saying they should have just threw in an Afro-Latino or Afro-Latina. I'm not saying they should have just thrown in somebody black or somebody with some more with some more melanin. I'm not saying that. You
said it right. You said it right the first time. Because that's really what it spanned. That's really what the issue is.
Yeah,
we can say Afro-Latino, black.
That's what it is. I'm not saying just throw in any black person. That's not going to make your movie great. But stop acting like they don't have. We don't have talent. Stop acting like that. Yeah. And to say that, there were plenty of them there, but they picked the best. Yeah, they picked the best because more often than not, a lot of the times it's girls that look like you that's gonna get the job. A lot of the times, even not in the Afro-Latino world, but even in the Asian world, it's girls that with the bleached skin that's gonna get the job. It's in the black world, it's the girls that's mixed that's gonna get the job. There's always an issue.
It's universal.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's not just here.
And do you think
on this guy?
That's another issue that just kind of came to my head when Brand said Afro-Latino, no, it's black. Do you think that is sort of giving some people resistance from even venturing off into saying something? Because you would have to acknowledge your blackness.
That's true, and a lot of them don't.
Latina, if you are dark skin, you're black.
So our very first episode, we talk about colorism within one reality show. Yeah. And then we tapped in, I think, on another episode. I think the following episode was how I have to identify myself within the senses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because, I can't say I'm Dominican. Mm-hmm. That's ethnicity. That's not my race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're black, right?
Because that's the only thing that
of Hispanic. I can identify. Hispanic.
That's the only thing I can.
The only box left.
That's the only thing I can identify as, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just
not white, non-Hispanic. It's white, black, Pacific Islander, and another, but nothing that specifies Hispanic. That's ethnicity that kicks in. So it's even acknowledging that you are that. Mm-hmm. That's really where it needs to start,
right?
Because I know folks hood folks.
Mm-hmm.
Can't call them the lingo, and I'm Dominican.
Yeah.
I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah, you can't call them black. Yeah,
I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is like black with they're black when convenient too.
Chill with your black brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But when shit get real, no, you're Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like, no, you're black too.
Sad? Yes.
Because once again, to think black is to think something negative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you're carrying that same construct that needs to be unlearned.
Right.
Everywhere. It's not just, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's just
everywhere, in every community, and no matter how poor the community is, it's everywhere.
And this director went through the same thing when he did Crazy Rich Asians. It was the same issue.
He's the one that did Crazy Rich Asians?
And it was the same issue. A lot of the darker skinned Asians, like, this movie does not represent everybody in the community. So knowing that he went through that already, I would think that he would be a little bit more sensitive, in terms of doing this movie. But
no, absolutely not. If that is not your experience, no, you're not going to think like that.
And also, he knows that this is going to blow over until he makes his next film.
Yeah,
but
he knows it's going to blow over. We talk for a minute and then we get over it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. This most definitely is not going to stick, because every time this type of issue comes up, we try to push on it to get the conversation going, but they'll probably throw another title in there for recognition,
Yes.
and then it goes on the wayside.